Are these pictures familiar to you? How about this one? Odds are, if you were born between 2005, or read the title of this video, you'd remember them from Windows XP. Here we are now, in time for the 15th anniversary of this OS, and the impact it left is still here today, even though it's not as easily noticed. Starting with Windows 1, the software was less of an operating system and more of an operating environment, since to run it, it had to sit on top of DOS. It wouldn't be until Windows 95 that a computer would boot straight to Windows, and even then it still had to go through DOS to do so. Of course, as hardware advanced, it was necessary for software to take advantage of the new features, so a rewrite of Windows was necessary. If you've seen the Copeland video though, you'd probably know that rewriting an OS can be catastrophic. Thankfully, Microsoft found a way to develop the newer versions of Windows without repeating Apple's mistake. From 1993, Microsoft had two Windows product lines, the 9X line running on top of MS-DOS, and the NT line which ran on top of the new technology. NT was mostly intended for higher-end users and server owners, while 9X was for home and personal computers. Over time though, Microsoft planned to phase out the 9X line and fully embrace the NT line, the OS that completed that transition being XP. In the late 90s, with both of these lines still separate, Microsoft was originally planning on replacing Windows 2000 in the NT line with Project Odyssey, and 98 in the 9X line with Project Neptune, which they intended to be the NT-based transition. Microsoft copped out on Neptune though and ended up rushing out Windows ME, still based on DOS, to less than pleasant reception. But the motivation to get rid of DOS from Windows remained. In January 2000, Microsoft announced that Neptune and Odyssey were both cancelled, and to replace them both, a new project was formed, called Whistler, named after the ski resort many employees went to. From then until late 2001, both teams worked together to bring this OS to life. They faced all sorts of problems, like disputes over default browsers, neglected support for USB 2.0 and Bluetooth, and even a hacker allegedly stealing the source code. But by August 24th, at a huge event Microsoft held on their campus, it was given to representatives of PC manufacturers who flew off with it in helicopters. A $1 billion advertising campaign was also set off, with the slogan "Yes You Can" changed from "Prepare to Fly" given the September 11th attacks that had recently happened. Reception for XP was mostly positive, with praise for its easier and more visually appealing interface, CD and multimedia tools, and its more hygienic file system. Some criticized the fact that XP required product activation along with exaggerated hardware requirements, but despite that, XP rose to be the most widely used operating system for over a decade, finally passing the title over to Windows 7 in October of 2011. This longevity eventually proved to be a curse to Microsoft, however. Thanks to the Microsoft cycle, Vista wasn't well received, and Windows 7 wasn't released until 2009, meaning many users stuck with XP. Slowly, over its lifetime, Windows XP began seeing dropping support from Microsoft, and on April 8, 2014, XP received its last official security update. Since then, exploits have been found for XP, rendering it insecure. Even with its support cut though, XP still refuses to die, especially in places like China where it still runs on 20 to 30% of machines, which prompts an interesting question. Can something be made too well? I personally believe that Windows XP is a prime example. It was designed too well, and as a consequence, Microsoft had a hard time getting people to move on. XP had an iconic theme, it revamped the Windows user interface, it ran Bonzi Buggy. How can you expect people not to grow attached? Sure, according to Microsoft, Windows XP may be dead, but in reality, for better or worse, XP is immortal. Happy 15th anniversary, XP.